Before the break, we were discussing about the humanitarian crisis back home, and last month we saw the former CEO coordinating the distribution of food and other items to Leban people who are internally displaced somewhere in Chang and in Melon. And I want to now turn the question to the current CEO, Mr. Atem Terence, to enlighten us if this is what his own administration want to continue with that kind of activity. And my question to you will be, if that is what you want to do, then where do you think that will end?
Okay. Yes. And thank you for that specific question. It's a very important question to me because it breaks my heart to see how much suffering our people are going through, to be displaced from your homeland and leave the comfort of your home forcefully, go live in a foreign land with no preparation, just with a few of your clothes, and you have to continue enduring 4 years of pain and suffering. So when I came in, and again, just to piggyback a little bit, we actually, the humanitarian committee, I was the board chairman when we conceived the committee. I and the former CEO, Kemtongo, Charles Itintino. So we actually conceived the program from the beginning. So I know the in and out of what that program, what the goals were. You know, I know a lot of people, some people have been critical about it, but if you were there from the beginning and you had the vision that we had, there were specific goals that we wanted to achieve with that program. First, it was important for us to try to alleviate the pain of our people, to let our people know that they are not suffering alone. They might be in despair, they might be feeling despair, but they have us here, even though we were just going to be giving them a little bit of what we could offer. It's not everything that they need, but it was important for us to show solidarity with our people because that is very important. But the second thing is that we also wanted to, we went to our donors and requested money for a specific purpose. And, I work in a non-profit world, design project proposals, sub money from donors. And when you go to a donor and you say, please, I need money to do XYZ, you submit a project proposal, that's what they're going to hold you to account for. So I see our donors here who are our stakeholders, our members who contributed money, raised money with the plan that the humanitarian committee put in place and did a very excellent presentation. And first, I will also use this opportunity to give a lot of thanks to Dr. Edmond, to Brian Kemp Thomas, to Dr. Julius Fomunga, to Mrs. Patricia Mofo, who are the committee members who have really, really done great work. They have sacrificed a lot. So, yeah, we decided that for us to close the chapter of the humanitarian program in the way it was designed, we needed, because the year before last, before we took over, that was supposed to take place. It didn't take place for reasons that I really don't want to get into. But we felt that because donors had contributed their money in anticipation that their people, remember, LECUDO members who are contributing this money, these are their family members from the bank suffering, who are IDP suffering. So we needed to make sure that these LECUDO members who are our donors, contributors, can see exactly that we eventually use this money for the purpose that we claim it was supposed to be used for. And that's honesty. People might disagree that there are other ways we would have better used the money, but but those other ways people need to understand. We have a General Assembly. The General Assembly approved these projects and we needed to follow. I am always someone, I think the reason why organizations fail is that leadership comes in and thinks that they know better than the General Assembly. So we had a commitment to execute that. And our idea was that once we do the humanitarian phase, we have to transition more to more sustainable development, to more capacity building, to more self-empowerment, and to projects that would have a multiplier effect. For example, we right now are working on a relationship with a major credit union to see how we could provide small microcredit funds to our IDPs, and that's going to be a pilot project. To our IDPs who are settled around Chang, you might have a mother who has kids and they are struggling. She might just need 100,000, to fry puff and beans and sell. So think about it. If you're able to provide that 100,000 to her, she could use that 100,000, buy a couple of bags of flour, buy some beans, oil, and that will be their startup capital. And once they begin to do that, 100,000 is going to be multiplied within 2-3 years to 500,000 to 1 million, because the proceeds from that initiative is going to help her pay school fees for the kids, and then she would in turn pay that money back at a discount, at a very subsidized rate of interest rate. And once she pays that money back, excuse me, and once that money is paid back, we then take that same 100,000 and loan it to another person. So this is the idea. We need to think out of the box.
Yeah. These are very these are very brightful ideas. But now, my question is, now with the administration that you have right now, your term of office is only 2 years. How do you think you will be able to implement all these activities before you leave office? Or do you think that you want to set up a long-term project that maybe you can propose a resolution that can be adopted, so that even the former or even the next president or the next CEO come in, they will be able to follow through? Is that what you intend to do? Or my curiosity is, with this kind of brighter idea, the fear is if you leave office, it may just die as well.
That's it. You really, really hit the nail on its head. That has been a problem with a lot of our village development associations. The idea of short-term and long-term goals, and the idea of long-term planning, and lastly, the idea of sustainability. And that's what we're trying to change. And as I told you earlier, when we came in, the humanitarian project had been conceived by the executive of Charles Ntutu, his executive. And the caretaker committee had also looked at it, and they were on board with doing that. So when we came in, we said there needs to be continuity in terms of administration. We can't just come in and say we have brighter ideas, we have this. People have spent time thinking about these ideas, and the ideas were adopted by the General Assembly. We are not smarter than the General Assembly. So we think that there should be a pathway in terms of us formulating our short-term goals, which could be goals within the contractual 2-year term of one administration, but it also has to be a long-term vision for the organization that has to ensure continuity. And whoever comes in needs to make sure that works. Because now, this is the idea I've tried to tell people. It's also a good return on your investment. Because if you go start a project and another administration comes in and cuts it midway, the vision and the goal of that project and the objectives are not met. Because then you've invested preliminary money and you were supposed to complete that investment. It's just like business. And instead of you getting to that final stage so that you can have an entire whole project and goal that is satisfied, then you have fragmentation of the outcome. So it's not, and trust me, the committees, that's the reason why we're putting in place committees. And that's the reason why we're also making sure that it's a well thought out process. Because if the new administration comes, it's going to be easier. They're going to look at it and say, hey, this was a good, well thought out thing, right? There's no reason for them to reinvent the wheel. I am confident that the direction that we are on, that sustainability, things are going to change.
Yes,
Yeah.
Merci. Oh, thank you so much for this evening. I think there's a lot that we can unpackage here, but because of the time constraint, we will come back again and we'll be looking at other activities and other objectives that Mr. Atemtere has put forward since he came to the office. And yeah, dear viewers, dear Leban people, dear LECUDO, I think you have listened to your president, your CEO, and on our next segment, we'll be bringing you more on what he has packaged.
Take the opportunity first to thank Mr. Kumba and Gaza Media for doing this, helping us spread the word. I am also a product of GBHS. A lot of GBHS people don't know. I used to be the senior sports prophet, a very popular guy. And I am also an excellent of Cedarwism. And these are sister institutions that sometimes we compete, but we are together. But I also, again, thank my most important gratitude it's to our stakeholders, the bank people, our members in the United States, and our executive. We work as a team. I am telling you, I think we have the best executive ever in the history of LECUDO USA. Very talented people. They are young, but the good thing is that we have also sandwiched that with older advisors who have a lot of wisdom, and they are really, really helping us navigate this. But they also trust that the young executive that they have, it's really, really visionary. So I also wanted, I just wanted to say that and continue to, that will continue to do good work for LECUDO.
Yeah, yeah. Again, thank you, Terence. Terence is my very good friend and the president of or the CEO of LECUDO USA. Till then, we have come to the end of this short segment. Stay tuned to Gaza Media. We'll be bringing you more updates and we'll be following up with the activity of LECUDO. Our goal here is to bring to the spotlight what the executive is doing so that the stakeholder, as he has well explained, and the bank people can actually see what LECUDO want to do for the entire fund. You have a good evening.